What is happening in J Gaming Dude here, and I'm going to be talking about Hogwarts Legacy. Now, many people have made videos on YouTube about it, and of course talked about it, the controversy surrounding Hogwarts Legacy. And if for some reason you've been under a rock and don't know what I'm talking about, in short, the creator of the Harry Potter series, J.K. Rowling, has been saying some incredibly inflammatory stuff in relation to transgenderism and just in relation to these sorts of things throughout Twitter, and just doubling down, tripling down on those actual kind of, discussions. And so, because of that, people are not wanting to support the game Hogwarts Legacy. Now, even though she hasn't been involved in the production of the game whatsoever, because she owns the rights to Harry Potter and the Wizarding World, she is going to benefit from it indirectly. And so many people are going out of their way to say, don't support it because, it goes against all of these sorts of things. Or that you're lining the pockets of someone who is going to be, who is against a marginalized group of people, and we kind of need to, take a stand for it, and why some people are doing boycotts whereas others aren't. And what's happened is that Hogwarts Legacy is actually one of the most wishlisted games on Steam at the moment, which is surprising to hear when you then think about the fact that there are people that are trying to boycott, but then there are people who just want to play the game. And ultimately you kind of find yourself in a situation where if you don't buy and play the game, that's probably more hurting the developers and the publisher deserves to be hurt. WB Games, need I say any more than that? But it's not worth hurting the developers in order to try and prevent giving J.K. Rowling money. But that's besides the point. I'm not going to get into that. I'm not going to talk about the whole whether it's right or wrong to buy Hogwarts Legacy, but more so just wanting to sort of encourage people to actually look into what she's been saying. Or there are places, I'm going to be linking this Games Radar article in the description below, but it's definitely worth mentioning that no one can answer the question for you as to whether or not you should or shouldn't buy it based on what J.K. Rowling has been saying, and that it's because it's so much more of a personal question. It does mention in the article that Games Radar for sure will be covering this game as they do with other games. So they will be covering this game as they would any other AAA game. But again, I'll leave that in the description for you guys to read. For me, I am actually going to be pre-ordering the game and playing it, because I've recently gotten back into Harry Potter because of Harry Potter, Lego Harry Potter years 1 to 4 and 5 to 7, and remembering that I actually really enjoyed the movies, the story. Granted, the world wasn't presented well in Fantastic Beasts, but that's completely different. That's a story for a different day. So it's really just, I'm sort of making this video to encourage people to make their own decisions as to whether or not they want to actually buy the game and play it. And I mean, the things that J.K. Rowling has been saying, I haven't really been paying too much attention to myself. In fact, I personally really haven't done much of any research. And I just kind of wanted to buy Hogwarts Legacy because it just seems like the kind of Harry Potter game, or the sort of the game that I would want to play, which is being able to roleplay in the world of Harry Potter, in the Wizarding World, in the, being a student at Hogwarts. I mean, when you were a kid watching those movies, I don't think that, at least I don't believe that people who were fans of the movies when they first started coming out, or the books, didn't feel like they wanted to be part of that universe as well. And I feel like this is the best we're going to get for that, even if it is being, sort of gaslit by the author of the series, the author of the series gaslighting people and doing that sort of stuff. So I kind of feel really, really bad for the developers, because they've been trying their best to kind of push their association away from J.K. Rowling, but because she's so integrally linked with the whole series, I can't help but think that they've got such a tall order to kind of act upon. So I genuinely do hope that the game is good and that people buy it because the game is good and not be sort of pushed away because J.K. Rowling exists. I feel like no matter if it's anything Harry Potter related, everything is going to be deemed as a negative or something along those lines. So I'm personally going to be playing it because I'm excited. I don't really care for J.K. Rowling at all, if at all in any way, shape, or form, which is why I didn't actually do any research prior to making this video, because I knew I was going to buy it and play it because I'd done the quizzes in the Wizarding World, which apparently they're going to be able to take your house, your wand, and your Patronus into the game, which is interesting. So I thought I actually ended up getting some really good results. So I think it was like Gryffindor was my house, Oak was the wand, and my Patronus was a chestnut stallion. So it's going to be interesting to see how they take those elements and put them into the game, which is probably the thing that's got me more interested, including being able to also roleplay within the Wizarding World as well. So again, interesting to see how things will go. But yeah, I just thought I would kind of talk about Hogwarts Legacy a little bit, the fact that there is a controversy out there, and to also encourage people to kind of, go out, seek the answer that you're looking for. But whatever you choose to do, that'll be completely up to you, because at the end of the day, it's up to each individual to make that decision themselves. And while more often than not, boycotts haven't really worked to really get people to change, one thing that has happened is that I suppose in a very rare instance, it's actually worked in relation to Wizards of the Coast and D&D. So maybe there might actually be a big enough boycott to actually, prevent this from happening. But until then, we won't know until it happens. So we'll have to stay tuned and see how things go. And with that, I'll see you guys next time.